The sun's going down behind me, but that doesn't really bother me. The light's gonna do what the light's gonna do. But it's beautiful, so let's get that in there. Kia ora and welcome back. I'm catching up at the moment. We're behind, so let's just get into what I've been doing. I'm also doing that gross vlogger thing where I'm like, ooh, I sip my beverage, but what's really happening is my tonsils are swollen and they're like really gross, so I'm trying to calm them down. So that's a bit cute. So like and subscribe if your tonsils are also swollen and gross. Let's get into it. The last thing you've seen is a rehearsal vlog. The first place we toured to was Great Barrier Island, which was this amazing place with the most amazing views. I have been to Waiheke Island before, a little humble brag, so I was expecting that type of vibe, but it was definitely smaller. It was definitely smaller. Everyone waved at us there because they knew that we were tourists, because they just knew everyone who existed there, so that was cool. What else did we do? We went out to dinner to a pub. I went for a walk in the morning. Then that weekend, I believe, Molly and I went to a little thing called Pride in Auckland, which is like a delightfully giant gay parade for a few hours. So we saw that. We saw some queens working it. I say K-W-E-E-N-S, like queens, not as in like queens as in like woman. You can be a queen no matter your gender. Even if you don't have a gender, we're cool with it. My favourite highlight was there was a Zumba queen who was getting it on the Zumba float. And that's sort of my life goal now, to be that Zumba queen on that float. But there were a bunch of cool other floats. There was like this really big concrete mixer, there was a disco ball, there were actual drag queens like QU, I had to think about how to spell for a second there, and I'll just have a bunch of that now. Our next adventure in Auckland was Kelly Tarleton's, which when you're just looking at fish is quite expensive. I feel like $40 to look at some fish is expensive. But I don't want to complain about the price because look at the seahorses. And there were some eels and there were some sharks and stingrays. I love a sea pancake because that's what stingrays are. They're little sea pancakes that around. And no, they look happy, so I guess they're like, that's my stingray impression. And it was fun. Molly's obsessed with turtles, so she was living for the turts. And yeah, it was a really nice way to just be classic tourist in Auckland. I don't know, look, I know, it's problematic to keep animals in cages or tanks or whatever, I get it, but it's not SeaWorld, there weren't whales, and also, I don't eat meat, so I'm doing my part. I don't know if it works like that, but tour life has officially begun, as in we're not in Auckland, we're in other places. So here's a few clips from that. I know I have a real delightful clip, you've met him in the last vlog, of Sire, Mr. Steel Yoga Robertson voguing. I think by the end of the year I'm going to convince him to become a fully fledged drag queen. He doesn't know this yet, but by the time he watches this video he probably will know it. We got interviewed by Quarter to School, and we did a little radio interview that was cute, and yeah, I think that's about all that you'll see this time. But yeah, we're on the road. We've been a bunch of places. I'm currently in Hamner Springs. We were meant to go to Kaikoura, but the road's shut and then a tomato truck fell over or something, I don't really know. But we're in Hamner Springs and then we head to Kaikoura tomorrow, but I'm ending this now, and then the next thing you'll see will be Wellington. I went to Wellington. It was delightful, but you'll see that next time. Talk about that next time. Thanks for watching if you did. That's it. Bye. Another beautiful day in my favourite city. Oh.